Hmm. Hey, it's me. Uy told me, the guys with the five eyes that you see. And today, because YouTube seems like they be hating on me when I talk about Lil Nas X and Cardi B, I'm gonna make the title a bit more devil centric friendly, I guess. I don't know, but we're really gonna be speaking on uh Satan's imagery in the mainstream and the kind of the weird desperateness of it, you know. And to really kind of put together that main point, what I've kind of noticed is that as the entertainment industry kind of has been losing more control over the whole entertainment process, and by that I mean like we are living in the times where individuals have greater impact on entertainment, music and TV, movies, like there's a lot more independent labels, independent films, independent visual artists. Like there's just a much more independence in the industry now. And I kind of feel like these overt satanic tones that we're seeing from the industry, mostly the music industry itself, it's starting to kind of show like a sort of desperation to me and stuff. So, I kind of have a hard time putting this kind of stuff together because I kind of just go off script to make it authentic. But as I start to explain through the show, you'll start to get it some more. So basically, I just described how the industry, the music industry itself, is getting more independent, and when it comes to like movies and film, the satanic overtones to a degree are kind of necessary for a lot of films and stuff because if you're trying to present a horror or something like that, then it's just part of like the story of what you got to present, or you're just taking apart actual lore, Satan himself. So that kind of makes sense. But for mainstream music though, I really don't see his involvement as really being as necessary to any kind of anything really, because honestly he doesn't really serve as a good plot for mainstream music, because when you think about it, music, I guess Satan in heaven, when he was an angel, Lucifer, whatever the hell his name is, he was like the minister of music and everything. So if you think about like his origins, then the music industry is exactly the industry that would make like things, how do I say, make his influence more influential. So if you look here, you've got Lil Nas X representing himself as the devil. You also have Cardi B here doing the same. And now a note is that while Lil Nas X did in the video, Cardi B was doing this like for more so promotion. She didn't dress up like this in a video, and she also dressed up as like an angel, so it was more of a duality thing. Um, but still, you got to think about this right now. Think about this: Cardi B and Lil Nas X, and Black entertainment are essentially right now the two biggest stars. You know, and if you think about the WAP music video on Montero, literally the two most controversial songs we've had in the past decade. Literally, they're both. Come on, dog. They're both hand in hand, and you've got her in devil garb, Lil Nas in devil garb and stripper garb. And also he was doing, he was stripping on the devil, and Cardi B is a stripper. And this is why I think like the industry is desperate, because they are being very overt with this, you know, and it's kind of funny that things are like this way because there used to be a time where this couldn't be mainstream. You really got to think about how these changes are coming about. If you did this in the 90s, it may not be a career killer, but it's not something the average label is going to put out. And now that I think about it, what is Cardi B's label? You know, when you type in the label, I saw that, you know, the label paid for Grammy. Okay, so I guess she's on Atlantic and Warner, and Lil Nas X is, I think, on Columbia. Okay, so he's on Columbia Records. All right. Uh, so not on the same record label, but anyway. So yeah, so you know, I just wanted you guys to kind of notice that the two people who basically had the two most controversial videos out there have both represented themselves as the devil. So like you've also got to start thinking and really start double thinking about these conspiracy theories and everything where they talk about these people devil worshiping. I mean, think about it. They are. They are, because you've got to understand that when it comes to mainstream music, you know, for the most part, the biggest point is to make big money through any means necessary. But what I don't understand is like why are we singling out the devil? You know, why are we singling out everything the devil represents? And WAP also had a lot of satanic references. The biggest one is like, like the leper print garb, and Chronicles of Judah kind of explains that, how that factors into like the mother goddess and all, and also the checkerboard room, you know. So it's kind of just as much of a satanic video as Lil Nas X's, but theirs is just more basic. It's just more like, you know, we just some sexy bitches. Lil Nas is really just more of a direct message. Um, and the other thing I want to get to is kind of like describing like the devil himself. If you see here, which I get from whatchamacallit, history.com, you know, in the Bible itself, it doesn't describe the devil in detail. Um, and that's because the devil is more so an actual, he's more so like energy. And if you think about that, how the angels are, the angels, like when he was the angels, not all angels are actually like the typical winged humanoid creatures that you see. Like really look like, if you see here on these images, these, I mean, of course, you know, got a human head and everything, but you know, these are like the more described forms of how angels like actually look. If anything, angels are more so winged creatures. That's not, I don't know how to zoom in on this kind of stuff on Google. I like the way they used to do it, but angels are more so winged creatures than they are like humanoid creatures, you know. So if you think about it, Satan, if Satan was an angel, right? If Satan was an angel, then if he's not going to have a basic humanoid form, you know. And if you look here, when I look, Google search the devil, in a lot of Western art, you know, he usually is represented as like a humanoid figure with you know, goat like characteristics, whether it be his legs or his horns. On But that's the thing, like, to me, I feel like they do this to humanize the devil while still keeping up with like the typical goat trope, you know. Although I've honestly really never understood why a goat in the first place. I guess because maybe the goat characteristics on a person is probably like the scariest bestial kind of form we can imagine. But to me, I've always assumed this gives the devil like a humanized. It's easier to make, like, to humanize Satan. It's easier to make it like make you more empathetic to Satan. You know, I mean, even like a drawing like this, it just, instead of looking at Satan as an evil being, it makes you think, oh, he's just a poor soul. You know what I'm saying? You know, And this is actually Dante's interpretation of the devil. And I was making a point to my coworkers about this. Dante's Inferno is some of the most popular literature ever created, right? And he describes the devil as being so low in the pits of hell that it's not even fire. He's like in a cold lake, forever eating sinners, like Judas, with three faces and three mouths. If you think about this, think of when was the last time you saw the devil represented as a truly a beast, a monster like this? You know, when have you ever seen him represented like that? Nah. For the most part, you see the devil looking like this, or looking like this. You know, funnily enough, looking like this. And where's that other one? Looking like that devil from whatchamacallit, from Legend, who was recently in a Match.com commercial. Look at the way they're presenting him right now, like right there, looking all sexy and stuff. Even if you look at the Montero Nas version, he has like a solid, singular, arrogant, powerful look to him and everything like that. Look, the sexy kind of look, you don't see the devil getting really represented as, like, if anything, he gets represented as a malicious entity, not like a truly dark. And again, in the Bible, because if we're talking about Satan and the devil, which is more centered in Christianity, then I'm going to have to go off what they say about him. And, he has no real form. And that's the thing about the Bible that a lot of people don't get. They take what is said in the Bible about like their entities and deities literally. But if you really think about it, all the well, I wouldn't say supernatural. I would guess the deities like the angels and God and the devil, those major ones, they do not have regular physical forms like us humans. They are essentially, they're just omnipresent, supernaturally powerful beings of energy. It's not as simple as them. Like they will represent themselves as people and other beings, but those are just forms they use with us to communicate us, because we can comprehend the physical. We can't completely comprehend the spiritual and the supernatural. That's why they present themselves to us. And that's why I think, like I personally do believe in the concept of the devil. I don't want to really call him by the name. Like, I don't want to be like, I believe in Satan being real and I hate him. I'm just like, I just understand that there are dark, malicious forces out there. And whatever it is, I would assume that's the devil. Because, again, think about it. He gets represented as like some six-pack man beast, right? But you never, ever see no movies, no TV shows, no music videos showing him like this. And that's why I think like, to me, I just believe these people worship him, because they don't ever show him in a truly negative light for what he truly is. And they always show him in a very simple manner. He's always just, he's always dealing with one person or a group of people, like the witch, or like I don't know, even in Legend, in Legend he is trying to get the girl to kill a unicorn to bring about everlasting darkness. So I guess that's bad, but still, in Legend they made him look like this big old powerful dude who's just all in control. In the Bible, it doesn't even say he controls hell. Actually, he got banished there. He may be one of the most powerful being there, possibly, but I mean, that's not his domain. He's stuck there. If it was his domain, why is he stuck there? You know what I'm saying? So by the representations of the devil, you can just tell that our culture exalts him in a certain kind of way, because like, and this is actually what I do like about Dante's representation of him. Like, Dante, like, basically makes the devil someone you just don't want to deal with, a being constantly repeatedly eating people, crapping them out in a frozen lake, which he is stuck there too. So Dante also shows that the devil is a prisoner. It's, if anything, he probably has the most accurate fictional representation of what the devil would actually be. So now that I've made my point about that, I'm like, it's time to reel in to how this kind of like goes back to the music industry, like itself, and its desperation to me. See, like, we're at a point now in our industry in music. I guess I'm gonna talk about mostly in music industry. I can assume like bringing up the devil in TV music is a discussion for another time, but I guess music is the most important thing. So excuse me, I meant to focus on that. We're living in a time now in the industry where the industry is actually doing pretty well because they can control the streaming game. Like, it's the easiest thing. At first they were afraid of it, but then they kind of realized, oh, we can easily fib numbers. We can easily, because everyone's got a phone and everything like that, and YouTube, and it's easier to get commercials to people because you have commercials on TV, commercials on YouTube, commercials on SoundCloud, commercials on Spotify, everywhere, so they can advertise much easier than they could before. It's really easy for these companies to get these guys streamed. So they're not worried about the streaming business. They're still making bank off the streaming. But their issue is that their issue is the control factor. Sure, you can get all the streaming you want from these artists, but an artist with a good enough movement can also get enough streaming. And see, the issue that the music industry is going to have is, once, like, when artists realize they don't necessarily need like the money from the industry. The artists that, like, the industry can give them fame. They can give them money too, but they're so constrictive that for the most part, the fame is what's really what most artists are looking for in the industry. So then they can eventually break off anyway and make their own kind of money. Like, or, they come into they come to the industry with, like, better negotiating power when they're already more famous. So they have more control over themselves anyway by being independent. Basically, the independent landscape gives artists more of an option, to control their own musical fate. And that's bad for the industry because you got to think about it like this. If you're the kind of dude, right, that if you got signed to the end, most people who would get signed in the industry probably aren't going to be too popular. So the independent route is probably the better way anyway, because, if you aren't going to be that big, then the money that you get, it's more important that it goes to you instead of the label, because you're not going to get so much, right? But then if you get big as an independent artist, you can literally go to the label and be like, I'm worth this. So if you give me less than this, I don't care. I don't have to care. Fine. I guess I won't be as famous and I won't make 20 million, but I'm perfectly fine making my million. I'm Ellie Dollar. I don't care about y'all. You see what Freddie Gibbs did? He grinded it out, and he did his thing. He got signed. Now he's all in the Grammys and everything like that. That's just what the music industry is going to have to start accepting, because we're getting to the point where you're going to have a lot of independent artists who are really, really big, and they're going to come to the table just like, give me what's mine. It's going to be like, they'll always be able to like have artists that they can kind of suck up and push out there to the mainstream. But see, the issue with that is that when you like industry plant artists and stuff, they come and go year to year. They have to constantly replace them, and they basically just have to lock them up. But that can also just waste a lot of money because they just don't last long. So I feel like the industry has to make this exalting of Satan overt, because when they want their followers and their listeners to be devoid of morality. And when you're devoid of morality, you fall into the 7 deadly sins easier. One of the 7 deadly sins that they want you to fall under, for the most part, to me, is envy and lust to give way to their greed, you know, because um I can say in the LGBTQ community, there is a lot of lust and envy in that community. And people who kind of not associate themselves with it, but over associate, over sympathize with it, they also give into that as well. And that is why a lot of those people excuse what Lil Nas is doing, and they excuse what Cardi B is doing, because if you know that community is extremely supportive. You know, they put their money where their mouth is. So these people are gonna go and buy Cardi B albums. These people are gonna go and, you know, give Lil Nas those streams and streaming numbers and everything. Even if they're not that big of a population, you know, they don't have to be, because if as long as they control the status quo and then they get everybody to fall in line with them, you'll have a lot of sympathizers and a lot of people fitting in, which is basically extends them out to millions and millions of other people in their cause. You know, that's how that money supply kind of factors. That's why a lot of people wonder, like, you know, why is the industry so, you know, how do I say, centered to gay people, and they make up a small part of the population? Well, that's because they influence a large part of the population. So it all works into that circle. So, you know, they're trying to get that satanic energy because they worship Satan. Because what Satan does, you know, the whole selling your soul thing, you know, don't think of that as you actually having your soul sold. Think of that as you giving up your mind, because that's where your soul really is. It's in your mind. Your whole being, everything you are, is within your brain. Your thoughts, your feelings, your personalities, all of that. Your brain controls your body. So Satan, what his whole goal is he is trying to get your mind. Once he has you under his influence, well, there you go. You have your control, and that's how we end up with this situation, because he completely has influenced the industry, and they're showing you that they need you now more than ever. You know, because the industry is losing all control. They're losing it. You know, think about all the rappers from Jacksonville. Jacksonville, as a rap city, was a local kind of city for the longest, you know, because even though it's quote unquote, you know, has the biggest city landmass in Florida and the United States, it's an underdeveloped city. No one cares about this place. It's a place old people stay and people raise families in generally. But it's not really developed the way Miami is. It's not developed the way Orlando is. I don't even say it's developed the way Tampa is, because we don't even have an aquarium out here. You know, like we've really, the only thing we've got is like the Jaguars and bridges, you know, and a bunch of porting. There's nothing special about this place. But now, because of the social media era, you got a lot of, well, drill trap rappers coming out the woodwork, like bang, 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 bang. And some of them are getting signed, and some of them on the way to getting signed, and a lot of them are just, they're doing whatever. Now, I don't agree with their music, and it kind of sucks that out of all the people that would make it out of Jacksonville like that, it would be those guys. But it just goes to show how the music industry is. You know, for a lot of dudes, they probably still would be better off getting a record label only because of all the support they would get. But if you're the kind of smart, do-it-yourself kind of guy, independency is probably still better off for you, because there are still a lot of people out there that could make better use of the money themselves. And when most of that money comes to them, it's easier for them to live the kind of lifestyle they want. You know, I'm not the kind of person that's going to tell you, you know, just go independent. That's the only way to go. But that's just the facts. And the music industry understands this. You know, they can get all the streaming that they want, but if they don't control, because remember, they live by greed. It doesn't matter if they still get billions from streaming. You know, if everybody else is getting billions, that's not cool, because that's the billions that they deserve. They think they deserve. You know? So it doesn't matter. They're greedy. The greed compels them. And I'll speak about this later, but you know, there's always those conspiracy theories about them doing orgies and blood sacrificing and everything. So really, the industry is it pertains to all the seven sins, but greed is the one that stands out most of all. You know, there's really no reason why. Like, if you think about it, again, if the devil has no real form, why is he constantly shown as being red with horns, ruling over hell, when he doesn't rule hell and he has no form? You know, what are they trying to get across? What are they trying to put in your mind about the devil? Like, clearly they're trying to make you have an image of the devil, but you got to ask yourself, why specifically is it like this? What does that really mean? You know, and it's like I said, they want you to look as like at the devil like he's you, like almost. I'm just saying it, almost like as if he is the one humans are modeled after. I'm just saying, you know, because if you think about the way the devil is represented, he is represented as both man and beast. And this is a world of man and beast. You know, when it comes to God, every now, you know, for the most part, he gets represented as an old white guy with white hair. And hey, that's another show in and of itself. But a lot of times he gets represented as just like a bright ass ball and everything. Claim we're made in his image, you know, but God, you know, doesn't really get represented as the one made. Everything is made in the image of. But somehow Satan is a human with beast characteristics. It would almost make you think they want you to think that he's who we come from. But I digress, you know. But that's the show. Hopefully it made sense, and hopefully YouTube lets at least more than 10 people watch this video, but who knows. Anyways, enjoy your day.